anger and vitriol and fear, and at times violent persecution against Catholics was a combination of a lot of different things. Some of it was brought here by immigrants, so it was the problems that they had had in the countries that they had come from, especially when you think about the English and the Irish, for instance. So they just transposed those problems onto this soil. For others, there were theological problems, things about biblical interpretation, for instance. They're reading different texts, and you know, Protestants begin to think that because Catholics don't want to read their particular translation of the Bible, then that must mean that they hate the Bible in general. And so, you know, that's on a more theological level. There's that. There's a lot of fear of the unknown, you know, fear of the other. People didn't know what was going on inside of Catholic churches. And, you know, when we look at the fact that these Catholic churches are built to not look like Catholic churches, then people have no idea what this mysterious stuff that's going on inside this building might be. So there were a lot of complicated reasons, but on top of all of those other ones, probably the biggest one was this fear that somehow Catholics, and often Jesuits in particular, are forming inroads in this place, in the United States, and are going to take over. They're somehow going to make this place a sort of place where the Pope becomes in charge. But as far as here, you know, it was certainly just more on the level of conspiracy theory. And especially when you consider the fact that they're simultaneously saying Jesuits are going to take over and the Pope is going to take over, when actually the Jesuits were being suppressed because they had too much. No, the perception was that they had too much power. So, you know, it's really contradictory in that regard to even entertain that kind of conspiracy theory.